The protests against the ICE raids may have calmed down, but that doesn't mean the ICE raids are not continuing to pick up, especially in strongholds where Latino immigrants are known to be at, which is Los Angeles. All across downtown LA and East LA, popular taquerías, restaurants, and fashion vendors have closed down. The reason why? Federal agents are everywhere. And depending on what part of Los Angeles you're going to in Southern California, you can literally hear a rat pissing on cotton.
Got him!
Federal agents in masks and bulletproof vests are ambushing innocent people sometimes. And illegal immigrants are concerned. And it makes sense because some of these immigrants have families in the Los Angeles area. And when they get deported, well, bad things can happen, especially if it's a man. If you're a father and you're earning money and you get deported back to Mexico or the DR or any other place, well, then your families will be broken because if you're the breadwinner for the family, how will the rest of your kids and wife support themselves? And this situation has brought in people, even from the Black community, concerned on the behalf of deported aliens.
They are taking away the fathers. What did they do to African Americans back in the 1960s, 70s, and 80s? They took the men out of the house. And that's what they're doing to Hispanic families now. I mean, it doesn't matter what color you are, we all need to speak up about this. They did it to African Americans back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and no one spoke up about it. They're doing it now to Hispanics. We need to speak up about it.
This brings us to Daniel Patrick Moynihan. Now, he was a U.S. Senator from New York, but most people don't know he was a PhD from Tufts University, and he studied sociology. And that sociology background helped him publish the controversial Moynihan Report on Black poverty. And he had a target in that, which was, well, single mothers.
So after the Moynihan Report, we start to see more literature in social work and the social sciences with a study on Black motherhood, but more specifically, you start to see more words like single mother, welfare recipient, all of these things used to shame and silence and even discredit Black mothers. The criticizing of single Black mothers is not something that is exclusive to one race. Individuals and organizations from both predominantly Black institutions and traditionally white institutions cite single motherhood as the cause of poverty and a drain on U.S. economy.
In a nutshell, the report said that the high rate of families headed by single mothers would greatly hinder progress of Blacks towards economic and political equality. And this is why the lady was saying that, hey, the same thing that was happening to the Black community is now going to happen to the Hispanic community. And we shouldn't just sit by and let that happen. Like, nobody spoke up for us, but we have the ability to speak up for them. And these Mexicans that are here are going to be broken up by ICE raids, and they will end up like us, and we shouldn't let that happen.
Boy, you don't sit your stupid ass down. Who the f*** you think you is?
Now, the complaint coming from the Black community is that the Hispanics do not care about what happens to Blacks. When Blacks are suffering and Hispanics have the ability to say something about it, they don't. They are only worried about themselves. And I went on TikTok and I found something that I thought was interesting.
The Democrats have had term after term after term to do something for the Latino community to help DACA recipients and those here illegally, and yet they haven't. To think that they are doing anything for us is a joke. Do I agree that Trump should just be getting rid of everyone? No, but Biden made sure this would happen, opening up the border, letting whomever walk in, knowing it wouldn't be his problem in 4 years. Everyone hates Trump so much they can't see who has been dangling the carrot over their heads for years.
Damn.
But wait, there's more.
Oh, and she continues to go up. It makes complete sense. Politicians on both sides get off dangling the carrot over the heads of the people, because why give them what they really want, what they want, when you can give them a more complicated version of what they want and keep their vote? That's what Obama did with DACA. He took young Latinos brought here by their parents and promised them an easier pathway to citizenship. When it wasn't easier, but it came with perks so Latinos could jump up and down and say, thank you, Obama, you did that for us. We're voting for him. But 10 years later, they aren't even close to citizenship and are self-deporting because of everything going on. But that doesn't mean Trump is right on this either. He thinks just deporting everyone will solve the problem. It does not. It doesn't. Both sides ignore a way to help those who have been here since infants and those who have lived here for decades.
Boy, you don't sit your stupid ass down. Who the you think you is?
Now, again, if you can hear this particular creator, he's talking about how the Democratic Party and even the Republican Party have misled Latinos. People are talking about, hey, listen, the illegals were supposed to get citizenship by now, and that hasn't happened. And the Democrats have done this. Now, if you look at this, all of these issues are concerning the Latino community. And many of these issues are diametrically opposed to African-American success, because the more immigrants getting citizenship in a country, that just means you may have lesser power politically if that particular group tends to think differently than you, which we have seen that happen. And when you look at this discussion that they are having here in this particular clip, none of this discussion involves blacks. The Hispanics who are now being deported could be Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, and Dominicans. The entire Latino community is still concerned about itself, but at the same time, these Latinos would really appreciate if blacks were to be concerned about them in the same way. But wait, there's more.
These protests in LA, they're not doing shit. It's just a bunch of Latinos that rather than educate themselves and figure out a way to make a real movement, go and give them a reason to round more people up, to throw more people in jail, and to make even more stringent laws against things like this. Everything but take accountability and actually learn something of how the system in America works.
In this clip, the same creator is calling out other Latinos for basically not working together, while ICE is basically coming in raiding in these communities. So now some Latinos are fighting amongst each other and not taking accountability for what is happening. I mean, the reality is, if these Latinos are being deported, they are not there legally, and they did not take the steps to be there legally, and so they are there illegally. So there's now fighting amongst themselves about the situation. Now, again, this is something that is bad, and I could feel for people who have come to America to get a better life. But again, if they are there illegally, then I don't understand what the issue is and how you can point fingers or even argue about it. They are not there legally. And at the same time, the Asian community has been silent on their behalf, and most blacks are now silent on their behalf. But there was a creator that mentioned something that is very interesting.
I'm sick of y'all telling me that I gotta say that I'm black when I'm not. I am Dominican.
So in Latin America, they got this running joke. I don't think it's a running joke, but this joke goes, every Latino family has a black grandma that they're hiding in the closet. Every Latino family has a black grandma that they're hiding in the closet. Let me show you what that means. You see this picture? This is the black grandma that they're talking about. She ended up having a baby by, a pale, maybe light complected man. And she got this biracial daughter. The biracial daughter went to go procreate with, a light white person. And they got this daughter. So they never talk about the black grandma though. And the black grandma, she wanted to erase blackness too. She wanted to get rid of it. That's why she has no problem being hidden. They're indoctrinated with anti-blackness, racism. It runs deep. They're not only trying to erase blackness, but they're ashamed of it. So someone like her, the previous person, Domino Black, will never admit that she's black. Anything but that.
But the best part is this.
But why you never told me we are black? And he hold my hand and told me, sweetie, we are not black. We are morenos. Now, of course, he was aware that he was a black man, but he rejected that identity. And I think this happens in most families, that you hide the black grandma in the closet.
Black grandma in the closet.
Yeah.
So this particular creator who is always on TikTok talking about these issues, and I really support this brother. Check him out. His name is Donnie on Timeout, all right? And he said that a lot of the Hispanics that have been quiet on black issues in the past have some level of African or black DNA. He talked about the Dominican lady who says, I'm not black, I'm Dominican. And he also talked about the fact that at the end of the video, many Hispanics are trying to hide the fact that they have a black grandmother or a black great grandmother. And you can know that this must be true because they can trace that in Mexico. A lot of blacks that live on the East Coast, there's a lot of intermixing between Dominicans and blacks, and in New York and Philadelphia. Puerto Ricans, if you look at Puerto Ricans like Felix Trinidad, obviously that man has a lot of African DNA in him. And if he was to say that he's not black, he would be insane. If Sammy Sosa says that he's not black, he would also be insane because we can see it. But then again, when it comes to black issues and you have black genetic DNA, and then you're a black person saying that I'm not black, but at the same time you're being deported along with the Latinos, then you're going to get a level of mockery from blacks. And that's exactly what happens. You are, and some of you are even a part of the African ancestry. You might have the same kind of slave trade blood or West African DNA that many of us share, but you're silent on our issues. And now when it's your issue, you want somebody to speak up for you. But really, if you're speaking up for us, you are technically speaking up for yourself. How many Afro-Latinos have been discriminated against in their own community by lighter Latinos who most likely themselves have black DNA?
Got him!
I know, right? One lighter black person discriminating against another black person that's darker, but you both are black if you were to check your DNA. I know you mad, but it's not my fault. And it's not that we don't see when some of the ICE raids are happening and we see Latinos with black features and going back. I mean, you would be like, oh, wow, damn, that's kind of crazy. But hey, listen, this is what happens when you don't speak up for the other people who you are a part of technically. And now it's all bad. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy, D Jackson. Man, at it again. The episode of Let's Serve Drunk, which is for all you do. Subscribe to the bell. We're out.